Good evening. Good evening. Whoever can tell me what key that was in. Let's see who got it. Hello, everybody. Let me turn off this here thing. We're going to have some background noise. I hope you all can hear me. I hope you're all having an awesome night. I'm here. You made it till Monday. You made it to Monday. You made it through Monday. You made it through the first day of the week, which is oftentimes a very heavy week for some people. Some people like to bunch everything they have to do into Monday and relax for the other days of the week. If you're here, please like and share this video with as many people as you can. I want to talk about just a couple of very short things and then really try to be out of the way in no time. Just want to give you some home run stuff and then bounce, all right? Because you know how I do. Sometimes I get to talking and I don't stop because I love y'all so much and I get so excited and passionate about what I'm talking about. But not tonight if I can help it. We'll see. Anyway, I hope you're well. Welcome to Monday Music Meeting on a Monday night at 9. Did you hear my voice crack? Must be the time. On a Monday night at 9 p.m. I love you all. I love music, and I want to share some of what I got throughout the week with you. And then I'll just keep doing that. As it comes to me, I'll share it with you. And anyone who gets it and benefits from it, great, awesome. That's what I'm here for. If it don't apply, let it fly. So where do we start? I want to start with a conversation that I was part of with the group. I'm in a couple of music groups. I believe that if you're going to be on social media or you're going to be on any platform like that or you're going to be social at all, you should find groups to be part of that are catered to, tethered to what you believe in, what you love, what you want, So I want to talk a little bit about groups. Maybe share some that I know of, or ask you guys if you know any. I want to talk. We've been doing like this riff challenge for a little while. I call it making melismas make sense. I got another one. Someone sent me another melisma. As a matter of fact, I got two. My boss actually sent me one. I got one from my manager, then I ended up getting one from my boss. And the one from my boss was a real challenge. It wasn't hard, it was just tedious. There was a lot of listening involved, and I had to transcribe everything that I was hearing for a piano. And that can be a little difficult because, sometimes you don't know what's a mistake and what's done on purpose. So I want to share another melisma challenge that I received with you all, how I broke it down. I actually just finished breaking it down, just the main part of it, and there's more to break down in it, but I want to share with you the part that I got. And I want to share some tips for teachers. This is the conversation that I was part of, that I was mentioning earlier. I want to share some tips for people who are in a position of leadership, where they're teaching and sometimes have challenges with keeping the students engaged. I wouldn't call myself a pro at this, but I would say I've learned some things and I've tried different things, and a lot of those things that I tried worked out really well. So I want to share them with you. You never know where they might come in handy. It could come in handy in your parenting. It can come in handy in your workshops. It can come in handy somewhere. So I'll just share some of those things with you. Where should I start? All right. Is anybody here? Hey, everybody. Maybe you guys can. Hey, Joy. I see you, Joy. I see you. All right. So now Joy actually sent me a run or riff challenge, or whatever you would like to call it. And just before I got on live, I sat down for about 40 minutes, 50, maybe 40 minutes, and just transcribed the melody. And I can share that all with you. I'll do it really slowly, and then I'll let you hear what it sounds like sped up. Or maybe I'll let you hear it first, and then I'll talk about what I heard. All right, here it is. This is Kierra Sheard and somebody, I think his name is Charlie. I think it's Kierra Sheard. Kelly now. Everybody got a lot of different names. We all growing up. When I met her, she was Kierra Sheard. Now she's Kelly. Anyway, because I'm old. So this is a duet that they did to create a challenge. I guess they were trying to make a challenge thing. And I listened to it a couple of times and just transcribed what I heard Kierra do. I didn't transcribe what I heard Charlie do yet because his part includes piano and maybe one of those, I don't know what it's called, like vocoder, something where you ever seen people have this tube in their mouth and they sing into it while they're playing piano and it splits their voice and makes it sound like really like that sound? That. Hey, I see somebody else. Who's that? How can I tell who he or not? Oh, hey, Ami, I see you. All right, I see you. All right, so let you guys hear that.
My Pandora bracelet was tarnished due to
Stop it. So when I first heard that, I did this. Not me. I ain't messing with that. But my ambition got the best of me, and I ended up listening to it until I could break down each part. And I just started with the most simple part and then slowly dug in a little deeper and deeper until I ended up where I am now with it. Let me see. I'm going to try to pull it up for you guys. So I went to noteflight.com. God bless you, noteflight.com. Thank you for everything you let me do for free. Right. Sadly, some advertising for them. Noteflight.com. Right, where you can transcribe things. Now, this is for people who know how to compose, who know how to do that thing. So I went there and I did that thing. Find it for you, please. Give me one moment. All right, I named it Kierra Challenge. It was a challenge. So I'll just do it in maybe small parts, maybe in phrases, okay? So in music, a phrase is kind of like what phrases are in literature. It's just a sentence where you start to where you take a breath. That's like a phrase. So if I go, la, 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 and I stop there, boom, that stop point, that place where I took a break, that's the end of my phrase. A phrase is where there's a silence or a pause, a noticeable pause that separates two sections or segments, right? So I'll just do it by phrases, and I'll do it really, really, really slowly, and then we'll put them all together and see what happens, all right? So the first phrase is C, C, E flat, F, F, E flat, F, C, B flat, A flat, B flat, and then, C flat. Now the C flat is technically B. C flat and B are the same key on your keyboard. B flat, A flat, F, E flat, C. So those are all the notes. Da 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 da. Anyone can tell me what scale that is? Anyone recognizing the scale? That is a scale. That is a scale. It is a blues scale. Hello, Devondra. I see you. I'm Uncle Dede at my church, just in case you guys are wondering. So yes, that is a blues scale. All right, what is a blues scale? A blues scale has 6 notes in it. Okay, it's kind of like a pentatonic scale. Pentatonic has 5. The blues scale has just 1 extra note. Let's start with the scale everybody knows, the major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Sorry, I'm not really vocally on point tonight. Forgive me. Hope you can make out what I'm saying. All right? And yes, it's very close to pentatonic. So here's the pentatonic scale. If you take do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and you kick fa and ti out, now you have a pentatonic scale. Do, re, mi, sol, la, do. Do, re, mi, sol, la, do. Now, everything that you heard there was pentatonic with the exception of one thing. It was the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The 10th note that I sang, it was a sharp re. So if this is re, re, do, re. A sharp re would be re. Or you can say a sharp re is kind of like a flat mi. Here's mi. Mi. Here's a flat mi. Me. So re and me are essentially the same note. Okay? They just have different names based on what we're relating them to. So the pentatonic scale plus a sharp re or flat mi, however you want to see it, creates a blues scale. So pentatonic scale would be do, re, mi, sol, la. The pentatonic scale, the blues scale is do, re, mi, sol, la. Or la, sol, mi, me, re, do. You hear the that note right there. That's what turns it into a blues scale. In blues music, that scale is used a lot to play, to improvise or written into a melody. You'll hear that scale a lot. Try to listen for it. Listen to some blues music and see if you can hear a blues scale somewhere. Something that sounds like this. Ba 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 or ba 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 ba. Something that sounds like that. Okay? So the first thing I transcribed was the pentatonic scale with that one note that turned it into a blues scale. So you have mi, sol, la, mi, re, do, re, me, re, do, la, sol, mi. All right, so it's da 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 da. La da 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 da. All right, you want a blues recommendation? All right, I'll look for something that has a very clear blues scale in it and send it to you, okay? Something where anyone can hear it without having to listen too hard or know too much, okay? I'm going to send that to you. So that first part again, do 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 do. All right, so also just some other details for people who actually transcribe, who compose. I set it to 6/8. That's the time signature. That means there are 6 beats per measure, and the whole note gets 8 beats. The whole note is valued at 8 beats. That means the kind of note that gets 1 beat is the 8th note. So if you look at my transcription, maybe I'll take a picture and put it in the chat. There's a lot of 8th notes all through there because that's I thought that was the best way to show what each beat was doing without confusing too many people. So I have 1, 2, 3, here we go. Running, hold for 2, running, hold for 2, running, 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 run. And that's what I have for the first phrase. Now, of course, they did it much faster, so it may not sound like what you heard, but so let me do it at that speed. 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Okay, so it's like really a whole bunch of notes like a machine gun coming out. All right, the next phrase is a little bit easier, I think. Well, it's definitely easier. The next phrase is do 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 do, like the notes of a B flat major scale. The first scale you heard, the blues scale, was an A flat blues scale. Bum 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 bum, a major blues scale. Okay, so if it were minor, it would be boom 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 boom, but it was major because I get the feeling that this song is in A flat, right? So there was a moment where we visited a new key, and that was B flat. So we had 4, 3, 2, 1 in B flat. Those would be the scale degrees of the B flat major scale. There would be E flat, D natural, C, B flat, do 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 do. So if I did that at full speed, 1, 2, 3, here we go. Do 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 do. Okay, put it all together, Daryl. All right, the two phrases, the long one and the short one. 1, 2, 3, here we go. Do 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 do. One more time. 1, 2, 3, here. Do 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 do. Next one is just as easy as the one. No, a little harder than the one that just came before it. A couple of more notes. So now I could sit here and tell you all the notes I did, and maybe that would be good for those of you who actually play piano and are looking for those notes, or I can just breeze through it. We'll see what you guys want me to do. If you guys want me to actually tell you every single note that went into this, put it in the comments and I'll do it. If you just want me to sing the phrases and then put all the phrases together without explaining to you exactly what notes I sang, I'll do that. All right? I don't know what level of deep y'all want to go into this because we could be here. All right, so phrase 1. Do 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 do. Second phrase, do 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 do. Third phrase, do 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 do. Oh, that's the one right there. Okay, let me slow that third one down. Okay, do 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 do. Okay, here's this. Ooh. If I were to slow that down really slow, you would hear this. Ooh. That's called a grace note or acciaccatura. That's when you touch a note that could be part of the scale, but you don't stay on it. You just graze it. You gracefully tap the note, and then you go to the principal note. So you got the secondary note, that's the grace note. You touch it just before you sing the principal note. Here's the principal note is C. C, C, C. The grace note is B flat. B flat. And I'm singing the grace note very quickly and leaving it to go to slide up to the principal note. Sometimes your grace note will be above your principal note. Sometimes it'll be below. Most of the time it's below, though. All right, so you have ooh. Now, if I make it a little faster, ooh. You almost can't tell I did it, right? But you can feel the difference. It's almost like, it's like just emphasis. That's what a grace note does to a principal note. It highlights it a little bit, gives it a little bit more emphasis. I think we talked about that another week. All right, so that longer phrase again, slow down. The third one. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. One more time. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. All right, the three phrases together. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, do, do. You got that? Ooh, phrase number 4. That was the one I had to listen to over and over and over again. But that don't mean it's too hard. I just had to make out some things that were going on in the recording. So that one's a little bit longer. It's gonna go. Do 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 do. Whoo! Do that in one breath. I'll do it again. 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. Ooh, crack in. Let's do that again without the crack. We'll start it in falsetto a little sooner. 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. Bah. Ooh, Lord. Slow it down. 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. I can do that better faster than when I try to slow it down. Who knows why? 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. Pooh. Never mind. Maybe not. Let's do it again. 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. Whoo! Lordy Jesus. Do 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 do. Okay. One more phrase. Who? That phrase is like a break. Who? So that's the fifth phrase. Fifth phrase is a break after you do the fourth one. Okay, let's put the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth together. 1, 2, 3. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. That wasn't it though. There was more. The devil. Okay, let's do it one more time faster, and then now the reason why I'm looking to my right a lot because I'm reading the music as I sing it to you guys because I literally transcribed it. Right, I had to because how else was I? What was I thinking I was going to do if I didn't transcribe it? Was I going to come in here and embarrass myself not being able to sing one of these notes because I didn't write it? No, I got to take notes. You got to find ways to, record what you're doing so you can continue doing it. All right, one more time, full speed. I think. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Here. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, okay, kind of worked. Do 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 do. Ooh, ooh. Do 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 do. Oh, and then it does something else. All right, so that's all I'm going to do for today for that. All right, there's more to it. I have more transcribed. Obviously, there's more because you heard it. You want me to give you an example of what that more sounds like? It's kind of like this, but I haven't worked on it yet. It's after do 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 do. Something like that. All right. I got to work on it though. But that might be kind of what it was. All right. That was pretty good. All right. Amen. All right. We offered that. Joy, I hope that helped. I know you're going to go figure it out and end up doing it because you got it. You got it. Whether or not you believe it, I know you got it. All right. So now let me talk about just some quick tips. Some quick tips. I think that whatever you're doing, you shouldn't do it alone. The reason why is because there's only so much you can teach yourself, and there's only so much new information you can give yourself, new discoveries you can make by yourself. But when you join a community, when you get in a group, when you make yourself part of a team or a group or an organization or whatever, you get to see things from a perspective other than your own. And that's how you learn and grow, you know? Somebody might find a way to do something that you've been trying to do for years, find a way to do it in just a couple of weeks. And if you knew their way of doing things, it could save you a lot of time. So I think it's very important to be in groups. Right now, I'm in a lot of different groups. I follow a lot of different groups. A lot of them are music groups, teaching groups. Hey, Tina! Oh my God! I love you guys. I love everybody. Yes, so it's very good to be in a whole lot of different groups. I'm in music groups. I'm in teaching groups. I'm in music teaching groups. I'm in singer groups. I'm in Christian music only groups. I'm in an alkaline vegan group, even though I don't have an alkaline diet. I'm just there to pick up info and try to stay on the right track and know if there's anything I could do to strengthen my immune system so that while we're dealing with the stuff that's going on in the world today, just in case our greatest defense is a healthy body, I want to prepare my body for that. So I'm learning things from there. But yeah, you don't want to learn on your own. You don't want to be by yourself. So join some groups. That's all I want to say about that. Just get yourself in a group, please, in a community, so that when you start to get in a way, there are people who can help you to get out of that way or get out of your own way. And then also to learn little tips for being better at what you do. When I'm in a music group, I hear something, I see something that makes me say, wow. It doesn't make me feel bad about myself when someone is doing something better than me. Because I came to the realization that even with my students, when I do something, I have to remind them that I'm not doing it to show them what I can do. I'm doing it to show them what they can do if they take the right steps and apply the wisdom that I'm trying to give to them. So don't feel bad if people are doing what you do better than you, because that's only going to make you better. If you now have a new goal to strive toward, would you really want to live in a world where the best person at everything was you? I was watching this movie. I think it was one of those Goosebumps movies when I was a kid. And sometimes those movies would have some morals, not just scary things going on there. And there was this girl, right, in the movie. She was in a basketball team, but she wasn't very talented at all or very skilled. Let me just say she wasn't very skilled. She wasn't doing well. She was the worst in the team. And this witch one day met her and told her that if she made a wish, the wish would be granted. So she tried out this witch and said, okay, I wish I was the best player in my team, in my basketball team. The next game they had, every member of her team did so bad, so terrible, that she was the only one who made a shot. Everybody else just was terrible. So in order to become the best, the witch made everybody else worse. So all you being the best does is puts a cap on how far you can go. There has to be something greater than you for you to measure yourself against and strive toward being a better version of you, right? It needs to be something that makes you realize there's deeper I can go, there's further that I can go. There needs to be someone who shows you, hey, you thought that was the limit? There's more that you can do. Hey, you thought this was the fastest you can swim? Look at this guy who has no arms. See how fast he swims? You thought that was the fastest you could run? Look at this guy who has metal bent pieces for legs. You see how fast he's running? You thought that was the fastest you thought that was the best you can do? Let me show you that you can do better so that you can reset the bar and prestige to another level. Right. So one of the groups that I'm in, they were asking some questions. Now we're going to transition over into teacher tips. The question in the group I was in was, how do you deal with the rowdy group of fifth graders? And I thought about it. Fifth graders are around probably 9 to 11 or 12 years old. 9 if they gotten skipped or started early. 11 if they started late. So in between 9 and 11, I think that's where the fifth graders are. And I was just reading comments. Why? Because I'm a teacher. I teach. I have a lot of students, and many of them are in that age range. And a lot of times, what works for some of the problems that you have with the 10-year-olds, you're having them with the 15-year-olds. Some of the problems you have with the 15-year-olds, you're having them with the 4-year-olds and the 40 years old. So these tips are helpful, not just for dealing with fifth graders. I'm looking at these tips like, hey, these can be helpful for dealing with people in general when you're teaching them, right? One of the issues or struggles or challenges, let's say challenges, with teenagers and in between that 9 and 13 range, just before a teenager, up to teenager, yeah, one of the challenges is keeping them engaged, right? And people were saying things that I thought had value. Like one person said, be tough, show no mercy, keep them busy, like no downtime, like just keep going, like just pushing, right? I was thinking, yeah, I mean, that could work, for some groups. Sometimes that works. Sometimes that doesn't work depending on the situation. I think sometimes maybe you could show a little more gentleness, like a more merciful side. And I think other times you could balance it with both. Having a little mercy sometimes, having a little toughness sometimes, whatever's necessary for the situation. People were saying things, because this is a music group, people were saying things like more vocal warm-ups, doing songs while standing instead of sitting all the time, because maybe them sitting might be too comfortable or familiar. Standing just makes it a little bit of a different situation. Teach a new song, do something new with them, add some movement to the lesson, right? So I thought that was a great idea. Reward good or desired behaviors with compliments or prizes or whatever. I think that's a good extrinsic motivator, the rewards, like making them feel like if they do this, then they get that. That's a good extrinsic motivator. I think that there also needs to be some intrinsic. Remember we were talking the other week about internal motivators and external motivators? It made me think of that. Sometimes it's good to have an external reward, but I think that the internal desire to do a thing often outlives the external. So inspiration is very important to me. I mentioned a couple of things. I mentioned making a game out of the exercises. Like, let's say it's a song and they're playing the piano. Create a game where every time they play the piano, that is how they activate whatever character or whatever puzzle will get them to the next level of the game. Because the thing is, kids love to win, right? So if you create a situation where they can win and make it look easy, they're going to be more excited about, being part of the game. So when you're playing a game, usually it starts off pretty simple, just so that you can figure out how the game works and, build some confidence. Say to yourself, hey, I can do this. And then it gets a little more complicated as you go. So when you get to the more complicated parts of the songs, playing them will result in more power-ups if it's like a game where the characters have powers and stuff like that. The game gets really good to kids. I do it with my kids all the time. They love it. They love when we turn learning a musical composition into each line equals, now I can activate a new power I just made up. Like they love it. They eat it up. See, I find that kids get easily distracted and they get sleepy and all these things when your voice is really like one level and there's like no excitement, nothing you know, it gets boring for them. You kind of lose them, a lot of them, when things start getting boring. So I would encourage teachers to look deep within themselves and find out what makes them unique as a person and try to find ways to add that to the class. But you know what I think that takes? I think that takes care. One of the things that seems like was missing when I was growing up is teachers that cared. And maybe it was because of the neighborhoods that I went to, and the schools that I was in growing up. But it was a rare thing when a teacher cared and you really, really loved that teacher. You loved that class when you could tell the teacher cared. Whoo! See, like, I remember Miss Rosen. Miss Rosen was one of my kindergarten teachers. You know, like, why do I remember her name? Because her care left an impression on me when I was a 5-year-old, 4-year-old. It left an impression on me that I wouldn't soon forget. So the classes that I struggled in were oftentimes the classes where I didn't feel the teacher cared. And when you're an emotional kid, not feeling like people care makes you disconnect from a lot of things, right? So when you care about your students, you don't say to yourself, well, if they don't get it, they don't get it. I'm just going to power on and move on with the kids that are doing well. Fail them. Next year, they'll be in a different class, whatever. When you care, you don't do that. You know how in the Army they say no man left behind? If you looked at your students like that and said to yourself as a teacher, as a leader, I don't want to lose one sheep, not one. If you have that attitude, you're going to care. If you just love them, just care about them. I'm not saying give them a hug and say, oh, yeah. I'm not saying doing love is not just showing affection. You know, love is making sure that they learn the lesson as well. And that may mean a teaching strategy that works on one kid won't work on another. And you have to find out what makes that kid tick if you want to keep them going to graduate with the rest of the class. With my job, we do recitals every couple of months, like maybe every 3 months we do recitals. With my class, every kid that participates in the recital has to know how to play the song. And not because that's a requirement for them being able to be part of the recital. It's because the way I teach them is so thorough that there's no way they can miss it. The way I teach them has so much care in it. Like, there was a kid who wouldn't pay attention in any of my classes until I found a way to make him interested. He was bored, he just wanted to go home, and he wouldn't learn simple notes on the piano like C, D, and E. I couldn't keep his attention just for those 3 notes on the piano for weeks. Until one day I went to the board and I drew a cat on the C note, a dog on the D note, and an elephant on the E note. And I told him every time he played the cat would poop. And I said every time you played the dog would vomit. And every time you played the elephant would sneeze. So every time a kid played the right note, I put another thing on the board that was disgusting and I pretended like it smelled really bad, right? So seeing me react to a cat note like, oh God, not another cat note. Oh, gotta draw another cat. It gave them so much joy. They laughed, they screamed, they got so excited and they couldn't wait to play the right note. And the same kid who I couldn't get to participate for literally a month came out of that classroom that day and for the next 3 weeks playing at the top of the class. And going home to his parents, I could see him on his way to the car with his dad talking about how great he did today and how much fun he had in class. And that was a huge turnaround from a whole month of nothing from him, not even a word, not even one note on the piano, to him playing everything, right? Today, for instance, today I showed up with to my classroom And I told my classroom I had a twin brother. Now, this class was already doing pretty well, right? This class was already doing well, but I wanted to keep things going. I wanted to reward them with a fun class for the work that they had been putting in previous classes. And I told them I had a twin brother, right? Everyone who knows me knows that I don't have a twin brother. Until today. Now I have a twin brother. Okay, so I brought my twin brother to class and I made him just get on my nerves until I finally, all of the kids screaming, going crazy. I had him literally pointing to the notes that I wanted him to play on the board, and just doing all kinds of crazy things, getting on my nerves. And look, I'm not a ventriloquist, right? But we're all wearing masks at my job. So when I'm doing this, you can't tell. You see what I mean? So I'm just thinking of ways I can keep my kids engaged, my audience engaged, my students. How can you do something that's unique to you to capture the attention of your audience? You're going to need this skill when you're doing your prolific dissertation. You're going to need this. Is that what it's called? I might have messed that up. You're going to need this skill when you're doing your public speaking. You're going to need this skill when you're when you're leading any kind of group, like when you're leading people, when you're trying to get people to a revelation that you've already received, you're going to need the skill of loving, because I think it starts here. If you love them enough, you'll care for them. If you care for them, you'll think about them. Think about ways you can enhance the quality of the lessons you're trying to teach them. If you care about them enough to think about them, you're probably going to practice. So the same way you want them to practice, you're going to prepare your lesson very well for them. You're going to practice what you need to do to be ready for them. Because you want them to do well, right? So in your practice, in your thinking about them, you're going to find ways that are unique and specific to your personality and the skills that you've already acquired to bring the classroom to life. And they're going to need that from you because you are their teacher, One of the saddest things I ever heard is when a teacher told me, I'm at the point where if the kid doesn't get it, I'm moving on. Next. It was so sad. So I was like, I thought it was our job to teach them. I thought it was our job to guide them. I thought it was our job. They've already given up on themselves. You are called teacher for a reason. You are called teacher because you haven't given up on them yet. Think about parents. You are called parent because you haven't given up on your children when they've given up on themselves. When your child is on their way to jail, right, for a crime that they did or didn't commit, what is a real parent doing? If you're wrong, I'm by your side. If you're right, I'm by your side. Because I love you enough to be committed to you no matter what you are and what you've done. You're still my child. I believe that's how God sees us. That's why a lot of us don't get half of what we deserve, and we get a lot of things that we didn't earn. Because someone loved us enough to care for us despite the fact that we may not be measuring up to their expectations. If your students are not measuring up to your expectations, that is no excuse for giving up on them. Okay? As long as they're in your classroom, you teach them, kids. All right, that's all I wanted to say. I think I'm done. Man, talking forever. I hope that this helped somebody. I hope that this added value. Any part of this 45 minutes that we spent. Any questions before I open the doors of the church and say good night? Benediction time. Any questions? Please, if you can't think of them now, put them in the chat. Send me an email to scienceofsoundgroup@gmail.com. Send me an email to darrell.payne7@gmail.com. That's DARRELL.PAYNE7@gmail.com. All right. I'm going to help as many people as possible. And if you can, please share. Share this to any of those music platforms, groups, pages that you're on. whatsoever. And give this to anyone who you think it can add value to. A teacher who's about to give up on their students, okay? Or a singer who wants to learn how to break down melismas, riffs and runs. Anything that this... All right, I'm done talking. Love y'all. Good night.